Tonight's topic is career exploration opportunities for our cadets. And we are so pleased to have Warrant Officer Sheets with us. He is the commanding officer of the Dempster Division, and he has been kind enough to make an incredible introduction to our national organization with the local Navy recruiting in Philadelphia. He's connected us with a fantastic speaker series. So we look forward to hearing him and all that he has to share about that. And following his presentation, we are going to hear from Dr. Sean Johnson from our headquarters team. He's our Director of Curriculum and Instruction. He'll be talking about some of the career exploration opportunities that we have as part of Sea Cadet Virtual Academy. So again, I just want to thank you all so much for being here. Again, we'll ask you to stay on mute and please hold your questions until the end of the presentation. And at this point, it is my pleasure to introduce Warrant Officer Sheets.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody, or evening. I guess it's evening right now. And thank you for the nice introduction, Karen. It was very nice talking to you before this meeting started. And before we get into the presentation, I do want to sit back and thank every single one of you. We are living in challenging times, and coming up with innovative and exciting things for our cadets to do during this period is a big challenge. And I've been very impressed, and I'm very happy to be part of this group of professionals like yourself who are coming up with these great ideas to continue to engage our young people in this program. A program that we are all big fans of, big supporters of, and want to see to continue through this temporary hold period. So again, thank you very much. What I'd like to do is to introduce you to a program that we've had the opportunity to cultivate with some relationships we've had in the Navy, and are thrilled to be able to explain it to you and to offer it to you to give another enrichment opportunity to your cadets. What I'm here this evening to talk about is a partnership that we developed between Navy Recruiting and the Naval Sea Cadet Corps. And this series, this program, is called Real Sailors, Real Sea Stories. So let me get into specifics and what does this mean. As we said at the very beginning, it has been a big challenge trying to consistently engage our Sea Cadets during this time period, right? Just everywhere around the country, all of our divisions, all of our units are looking for things we can do with our cadets to keep them, again, interested in the program. Now, our cadets have a lot of things going on in their minds right now, things that we may not actually be able to appreciate as adults. I mean, we may be able to look at our current situation in regards to this epidemic and be able to, rationalize it, be able to deal with it, to think that there's hope in front of it. Our young people could be affected by this very deeply, and we don't really know that yet. And Sea Cadets is indeed a venue for them to focus on other things. They've been taken away from many of their very important school activities. They don't have close contact with their friends. So Sea Cadets can be a very positive thing for them in their lives, right? So if we're going to be looking for engagement opportunities, can we find something which is really useful, which gives them a useful experience that can help enhance them with their Navy knowledge of the things that we teach within the Sea Cadet Corps? There's plenty of great ideas, and this group has come up with many of them, and I applaud those, right? This is another one that can be added to that arsenal, that tool set of things that we can do with our cadets. So when we started looking at this thing, we started saying, well, how do we leverage the types of activities that our Sea Cadets truly enjoy? We know in our division, when we have our drills, they like the physical stuff. They like the activity. They're not too crazy about standing for inspection, but they'll do with it. They'll do with some Navy knowledge. They'll do with things like that, right? But one of the other items that they really get enjoyment of is when we can bring in qualified speakers, people that have done the job, regardless of what that job is, and come in and share that. It totally demystifies it. It turns it into something that's real. And because of our remote working operations, this is something that we can attempt and have attempted with this program to bring this forward to our cadets. So where did we begin with this? So we started to leverage the relationship that our division has with Navy recruiting. For where we are in the New Jersey area, we fall right between the division line between the Navy Talent Acquisition Group, or Navy Recruiting within Philadelphia, and Navy Recruiting District of New York. So started reaching out to both of those organizations and explaining our situation. And it did not take a lot of convincing. Actually, Philadelphia jumped on board right away. From a quick email to their commanding officer, to a group with the commanding officer, XO, and CMC, all the way through bringing in their PAO, bringing in their technical folks, and bringing in other high qualified recruiters. They said, yes, we're on board. What can we do with the Sea Cadets? So we came up with this program, and we decided to go big or go home, and they were fully on board. So what we wanted was to bring the best talent they have, people that do exciting careers, people that have gee whiz excitement stuff that our cadets would like, and to be able not just to extend it to our division, but to give it to the whole Sea Cadet Corps. Why not? With a virtual environment, just a few clicks away. So that's what we're doing with this program called Real Sailors, Real Sea Stories. Here's the result. What we're trying to do is to bring the learnings that they have to life, bring the BMRs to life, right? Other than just learning, Navy terminology and things, why not bring in those subject matter experts, the ones that actually do those jobs in the fleet? Now, sure, they're currently working for Navy recruiting, but we weren't looking for Navy recruiters that could sell someone on a job opportunity. No, what we wanted was someone that actually does that job, is maybe rotating into Navy recruiting, and to describe it to potentially their future shipmates. Now, it's very important to understand here, we're not recruiting through this exercise. This exercise is to provide education, and that's it, right? So how we're doing that? We're having these real sailors telling their real stories. So these are first person's accounts of what it's like to live in the Navy. So let me give you an example. We have some of our speakers who are talking about, why did I choose this? I had other options in my life. I did this. When I went to recruit training, it was like this. These are what my schools were like. Here's where the challenges I've had. Here's where I failed. Here's where I picked up. Here's how it's impacted my family. Here's how it's done all great things for me. Here's things that I don't like. Here's things I wish I could have done if I knew this before going in. So they're passing along their experiences to our cadets, which is incredibly powerful to have these real subject matter experts acting like virtual mentors. So they're telling us what life is really like, what it's like to live the Navy life. So how are we presenting this? Okay. So they've actually created a dedicated YouTube channel. Strangely enough, it's called Real Sailors, Real Sea Stories. And you can see it here in the graphic, right? So that's just the header. There's one subscriber so far, and I'm proud to say that one's me. So it is going to be presented over a live stream over YouTube, right? So many of us just know YouTube as I'm just going to look at some videos, but live stream is all part of it. So they're going to live stream it, the ability to have our cadets interact as these presentations are going through, so they can see, interact, get their questions responded to, but at the same time, see all sorts of fantastic images and videos and real-time stories about what these people did within the fleet. So what I do recommend is look for Real Sailors, Real Sea Stories, hit the subscribe button and hit that notification bell. So therefore, any new content that comes in there, you'll know about. But we will publicize what these presentations are ahead of time. So not only is it live, but all these sessions are being recorded for playback. So if you're unable to make it, if you have cadets who are interested in this, or a variety of reasons, to a time frame that's better for you, all of those videos will be available for your viewing, for your training, for whatever you want to do with them. At the same time, we've also created a companion website to go along with this. It's hosted out on Google Sites. And what this lets you do is, with some of the selections, you can go right into the live video feed while it's happening. So instead of going into YouTube, you could go to the website, and all this information will be published, so you don't have to jot it down. You could go into it directly, or you can see previous stories, or you can message the presenter with some other question if you wanted to, right? See the playback videos, and there's one more feature here that I'll describe closer to the end. So what are these sessions? The sessions are scheduled to be twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Okay? The very first one happens tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. And when I talk about these are high power, high profile, exciting things that our cadets would be interested in. The very first one is from Petty Officer First Class Price. His rating is AW, so it's an aviation anti-submarine warfare operator. Strangely enough, same rating I was in the Navy. And he's going to describe his journey, right, from being a kid in high school, going into the Navy, going through aircrew school, through prisoner of war camps, through aircrew training school, through helicopter rescue school, going out in the fleet, how it impacts his family, all that other type of stuff on that YouTube channel, Real Sailors, Real Sea Stories. So that's Tuesday. On Thursday, we have an internal communications group talking to us. Now, NC1 Carlin was the ET, electronic technician, who did all this on the ship. And it's fascinating how all this gets put together. So for both of these ratings, our cadets will have the opportunity to really understand what they do, really get a good sense of what it's like to be out in the fleet, and be able to interact with these people. The following week, just to give you a few more and then we'll move on, we have a Navy quartermaster. Quartermaster in the Navy is the person that drives the ship, right? How do you get to drive an aircraft carrier? What's that all about, right? This is some pretty exciting stuff. And then on that Thursday, what about the Seabees? You build, you fight. Tell me more. We have trainings with this within the Sea Cadet Corps. Let's learn a little bit more about this. And these things may end up being so interesting to these cadets that they will go and do those advanced trainings, right? From seamanship to Seabees and things like that, where they get an understanding of what these jobs are all about moving forward. Now, the rest of the schedule. This is not 4 webinars. This is sessions from next Tuesday or Tuesday, tomorrow, all the way through June 25th, 18 sessions of this, right? This is a major commitment by the Navy, and they really are looking forward to explaining what they do and educating our cadets. And again, this is the good stuff that the cadets like. Right? Operations on the flight deck, military police, public affairs, submarines, honor guard, and it goes on and on. Special forces, weapon systems, all the things that our cadets like set up, pay attention, take notice. And they're all being presented first person by the people that do them. So this program, it's ready-made virtual drill material. Okay? And when I said there's one more portion of that website, this is the other portion. Each of these sessions will have an online quiz. So it turns it from an active listening, right? Or an active, it turns active learning, okay? Not just passive viewing. Stumbled over that, but you get my point, all right? So they're not just absorbing it. Now, stats have said that that age group watches a ridiculous amount of YouTube every day, like hours, right? But they don't have to interact with it. Here they're interacting with it because we're gonna give them a quiz at the end, right? It's only 10 questions. They'll be able to do it at their time, okay? But it'll only be active for about 2 days. And then after that, it's offline. So they do have to interact with it in a particular amount of time to do that. Their results will be emailed to the cadet to be forwarded on to the commanding officer, if that's what you choose, to get virtual drill credit, if that's what you wish to do. So again, this is ready-made material for you, but I do have a disclaimer. The cadet is going to fill out the appropriate email addresses because we're emailing these things back and forth. So if they don't know your email address or they don't know their own, it gets stuck in purgatory. So if that's the case, I'm the sole owner of those results. That information is not being shared with Navy recruiting. It just comes to me. So if you have some questions in regards to any of your cadets that took these trainings and they didn't get their scores, feel free to reach out to me. Again, we have cadets that fill out their email address as idon'tknow@idon'tknow.com, right? It's not going to go anywhere. So, in summary, this is an exclusive program created for the Sea Cadets by the Navy, and they're all in. They really are looking forward to this, and they are practicing these presentations multiple times. So they're not winging it. The one that we're hosting tomorrow, I think they went through this 7 times, and it went through a review board. So They're not playing around here. This is good quality educational stuff exclusively for our cadets. The people that are training are these subject matter experts. They're the first persons who did this. And each one of these presentations are enticing. They have videos, they have pictures, they end up being live interactions where cadets post questions, we respond to them, and there's a quiz at the end. So again, if it's something that you want to do for a virtual drill, it's already set up for you. It's all ready to go. So we set this up with our partners at Navy Recruiting, choosing these specific titles because this is the good stuff that the cadets enjoy. And that's what we want to do. So if we go back to the very first thing I talked about, how do we keep them engaged? Well, many ways, of which all of you are a part of. But another way to do it is that we give them the stuff that they naturally gravitate towards. We train them on that, and we keep them involved in the program until we can restart and go back to the exciting Sea Cadet program that we all know and love. So that's it. That's the program. Real sailors, real sea stories. Any questions?
Actually, a few have already come in while you were speaking. So this is Karen. I'm going to go ahead and share those with you.
Great.
The first question was, how can other units form similar partnerships? Would you be willing to share some of the outreach and the language that you used in your communications just as a model for others?
Sure, absolutely no problem. Happy to do that. And that is actually a very, very good point, which is something that we don't do a lot of leveraging. It is very important to build a relationship with recruiting. It doesn't matter if it's Navy recruiting or if it's at, I went to a Naval Academy overview presentation, and there were a few Marine officers there, and this was a couple of years ago. Always have a business card in hand. Always be ready to talk about Sea Cadets. And when we talked to them, they said, great, we'll set up a confidence course for you. And they did that. So, always reach out to Navy recruiting. Even your local recruiter, just give them a call and just say who you are, right? The ace up our sleeve this year is I did see some paperwork coming from Navy Recruiting Command, right? And they had like 6 or 7 things that they wanted to accomplish this year. Number 2 or number 3 was establish a relationship with the Naval Sea Cadet Corps. Flat out. It didn't say anybody else. Establish a relationship with the Naval Sea Cadet Corps. So they're already looking for an avenue to do that. All you have to do is crack the seal. So I'm happy to share the way that we do it, but that same power is within your hands. Send an email, give a phone call. Quite frankly, they don't have a lot to do right now. They're happy to jump on board and help out.
Thank you. That's actually so inspiring to hear that they were ready to jump on it like that. We have someone else asking if the quiz is available after the session tomorrow night, like on playback. They would like to be able to use it for one of their drills. I didn't know if that's something you would know the answer to.
I could do something like that if that's what you wanted to do. The way that it's set up is it's a Google form and it dumps out to a spreadsheet. And then from there, I actually physically grade it. Okay. So I can't do that forever, but I could definitely give you access to it or give you the questions where you could administer the quiz yourself, or we could find some other way to do that. I've been trying not to just publish the quizzes because our cadets are really resourceful. Okay. And once it's out there, it seems to be out there for everyone's taking. Okay. Did I say that right? Maybe.
You did.
Okay. So anyway, I like to kind of keep at least the first round to be authentic. But then after that, I'm more than happy to share the quizzes with you, or at the same time, watch the video and make them up your own. Everything in the quiz is something that was covered within the presentation.
And again, they'll have access to the presentation after if they want to share that with their unit. So
absolutely. And you could, and as long as that YouTube channel stays up and running, right? And the Navy's doing this because the Navy is actually looking forward to also receiving positive publicity on this, right? They're going to leave that up for quite a while. So that definitely is available to you as a training aid even after this series is over.
Well, that segues nicely into the next question, which was somebody was trying to pull up that YouTube channel during your talk and wasn't having any luck. So is there any chance they might be holding till tomorrow to launch it publicly?
Okay, number one, why were you not paying attention to me when I was talking?
It wasn't me, I swear. I'm asking for a friend. I'm asking for a friend.
Gotcha. Okay, so what I will do a little bit later is I got some really nice response when I introduced this series in the forum on Workspace.
Oh, good.
So I will add tomorrow's presentation to Workspace, and I'll also add the direct URL to the YouTube location and the direct URL to the website.
That's fantastic. Okay.
So
thank you.
At least that's a way to do it. Yeah, and until it's live, I think it's not searchable at this moment, but clearly it would be up and searchable before our presentation tomorrow. Just a little bit of background. With Navy recruiting and myself and everybody involved, we've been working on this at breakneck speed for like 2 weeks. So this is ending up being a rather big project, but it hasn't been in flight very long. And it's nice working with military counterparts because they're looking at this like a mission. They're digging into it. So if some of the loose ends aren't together even tonight, they will be tomorrow.
There's no doubt. I mean, just the professional quality of the way you guys have pulled this together in such a short amount of time. I am very impressed. So thanks for all that you're doing. Sure. I think at this point, what we may do is just turn it over to Dr. Sean Johnson to talk a little bit about some of the resources he has, and then we can open it up to everybody again for questions, but that way we kind of keep things moving.
Excellent.
All right.
A couple things that I want to go over real quick. And again, I don't have a formal presentation. This is just sort of a share out of some of the things that I'm working on to get cadets engaged and even adults. I mean, I got to tell you, the first thing I'm going to show, I'm obsessed with it too. So even get adults engaged. And so I have been working with ENS Reed Taft, who is the Top Hatters Division in Norfolk, Virginia. And what we are going to do, or we've been working on, he has been a tremendous help. Karen, you can see that, right?
Yes, I can.
Okay. We have been working on a Minecraft server that we're going to make available nationwide for cadets to go into and build stuff. And so he has been tremendously helpful in the last few days getting this thing started. I've dabbled, and I'm sure if you talk to your kids, ask them what Minecraft is, I'm sure many of them know. Some people age out of Minecraft, like teenagers, because they think it's too cool for them, but I'm 42 and I still do it. So, sometimes you get back into it, but the educational potential here is vast in terms of not just building engineering, but also computer programming. And Reed is much more in the technical aspect of creating these really awesome machines. And I'm more in the design of buildings and vehicles. So I just want to show everyone real quick. Oh, there he is right now. Hello, sir. Naval expert. And so every cadet is going to log in and be spawned at this lobby area, which is my replica of the Commandant's Mansion at the Navy Yard in DC. So they're going to be spawned at this point where they'll have to sort of look at the server rules and you can't blow things up and things like that. So we're going to play around with what that's going to look like. As you can see, Mr. Taft has some really cool stuff over here. Why don't you flip that on? Flip that on real quick. So that's a diesel engine that he created in here. And so if you can look at all the circuitry involved, I'm just going to go down. I mean, come on now. That's insane. And so these are all, you know, this is sort of like your wiring. These are all switches that have to be timed. So the potential to create machinery in here is just unbelievable. So they'll have to log in through here and sort of look at the terms and conditions. Sometimes those doors are sticky. There's a chicken somewhere. There's no chickens in the Navy Yard. And so here's sort of another spawn area where they'll receive a welcome. And then what we're going to do is basically open the world up for them to build all sorts of cool things. And so Reed was great enough to import this aircraft carrier that I had made all by my lonesome. And so they'll be able to build things like this. And we'll definitely build in some challenges where we can create certain kinds of ships, certain kinds of problems that we can solve, engineering challenges and so forth. But this could be as big as we want to make it, and it could be an excellent recruiting tool and an excellent way to do research on aviation, different kinds of ships. I mean, the concepts really are endless at this point. So I know at some point there was a submarine and then a Zeppelin that I created just to get everybody started. But you will be amazed by what, you know, young folks can build through this platform. So I just wanted to show you that real quick, that this is on the way. We're just sort of getting everything started, getting the right permissions, getting the right server space. And then if cadets already have the game, they can download it, create an account, and then we can give them information about how to log into the server. But again, really interesting stuff, a lot of potential here. So I'll close out on that because I could spend all day in there. Okay, let's see. Oh, I think my screen share stopped. Okay, and then now, now we'll get onto the career stuff. The one thing I wanted to bring up is there's something called Navy Cool, which it's a way to sort of track how you become credentialed in different rating areas. And so if you go to their website, you can sort of click through to see what you would like to do in the Navy and what kinds of courses or what kinds of background knowledge you might need. And so here are all of the ratings in the Navy right now. And if you know, or if you want to explore what you might like to do, or maybe not necessarily in the Navy, but just explore the kinds of knowledge that those positions are about. So if you're interested in, you know, air traffic control, and so you can click that rating. And then it sort of describes it, summarizes it, and gives you all of the credentials that you might need for it, and where you can get that training, all the related occupations. So bridging the gap between military and civilian careers, the kinds of education, additional information. So, and the different kinds of exams that you would need to take. So if you're really interested in a specific area that you think you'd like to explore, this lays it out really well in terms of the different ranks and ratings and opportunities that are available in the Navy itself. And as someone who has a civilian background, I don't have a military background, it's just interesting to look at sort of how you become credentialed in these areas. And if cadets want to explore the coursework that might put them on that path, it's certainly available through the Navy Cool website. So that's one. And then the other thing I wanted to share is that we're going to start a podcast, and loosely related to careers, in that we're going to get a lot of Navy personnel in as guests to talk about their experiences. We're going to have a lot of cadets to talk about their experiences and issues they'd like to explore. And so we're going to put out some feelers in terms of the kinds of topics they might like to explore and discuss, and the kinds of segments. But there is sort of a pilot episode up here that I did based on an interview with Paul Kingsbury, who had some interesting experiences that he had about Operation Tamadochi, which was the humanitarian efforts after the earthquake and tsunami in Japan in 2011. And so we talked about that, and that's related to some of the history curriculum that I'm writing for the cadets. But podcasts are really, it's an additional way, a really easy way, and a very accessible way to get information and experiences out there about our program. And so they're definitely portable. You can listen to them at any point. They're mobile, so it's perfect. And so leadership cadets, they wanted to call it the scuttlebutt, probably because they wanted to be able to say but, I don't know. But that's what it is, the Sea Cadet Scuttlebutt, and that's our logo. So we'll share out some information when we've got more shows banked and they're ready to go. But this one is totally listenable at this point. It's just a pilot. Then the last thing was I just wanted to remind everyone of the resources that we have up here. We are very close to approaching the rollout of some courses that cadets can complete for credit. We are almost there. We just have to work with Magellan in terms of the technical aspect of enrollment to make that as seamless as possible. We are very close. But we do have a number of special topics areas where you can explore the different kinds of careers in the Navy. The U.S. Navy has an entire page of YouTube videos about the different career tracks that you can take. Ethical leadership is, a lot of times we tend to obsess about STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, but we have to really pay attention to the humanities as well. We can't forget about that. And so there is room for debate, philosophy, and those kinds of things. And ethical leadership is a really hot topic that's, as we focus so much on science, I think a lot of folks have forgotten some of these moral and ethical aspects of leadership. And so I would really urge folks to go out to the Stockdale Center, which is at the U.S. Naval Academy, and explore some of their ethical leadership scenarios that you can play through. And they do have a podcast as well. Stanford University has an excellent civic online reasoning series that I'm going to be weaving into some of our curricular offerings, but they do have some really good exercises. Young people are inundated with information nowadays, and so they really need to know. It's a specific skill that requires practice to be able to sift and winnow reliable and unreliable sources of information. So I would highly recommend working through some of these, perhaps as a unit or as individual cadets. Otherwise, podcasts are also a great idea to get into the different kinds of careers and the things that the Navy does. I would highly recommend the Proceedings podcast, which Paul Kingsbury has a hand in, as well as creating his own, called The Cutlass. And so it really does deal with a lot of the minutiae and details the Navy does, and a lot of the debates they have as a vocation, as a profession. And so certainly Navy SEALs talking about, the leadership qualities that are required to be in that program and what they do and how they prepare. That can be of great interest to cadets as well. So there are a lot of different resources here. Our course offerings in that cadets will be able to get for credit, they will fall into some of these areas: computer science, seamanship, STEM, and the humanities. There are some preliminary resources up here that you can look at in these subject areas, but I can pretty much guarantee you that a lot of our advanced trainings are going to come from these areas, because that seems to be the bulk of material online for us. So that's basically it. That was just sort of a quick overview of what we have out there already. And so I can certainly answer any questions about that.
Sean, thank you. Actually, yeah, we did have some coming in while you were speaking, and for everyone else out there, we're opening it up. So any questions you have for either Warrant Officer Sheets or Dr. Johnson, go ahead and pose them in the chat. But the first question was on the Navy Cool website. Is that connected to our Sea Cadet Virtual Academy, or is that just something they go and find on their own?
I can certainly link to it. That was not something that, I mean, this is really for, actual real Navy people.
Right.
But that's probably the most technical way I can say it.
Yeah.
But, if you are enlisting or just enlisted or whatever, and you're interested in the different career tracks, but I can definitely link to it. It's a whole initiative that each branch has sort of come up with. The meaning of the acronym is escaping me, but I mean, this is really a way for cadets to sort of, or not cadets, well, yeah, cadets or enlistees to sort of track their career, kind of like you would do in college, where if you choose your major and then you sort of lay out your course of study. So I can definitely link to it there.
Sure. Thank you. Another person is asking if adults will be allowed to sign up for the virtual courses once they open.
Yes, absolutely.
Great. Okay. Someone else wanted to know when the Sea Cadet Scuttlebutt will be ready.
Well, this episode, I can definitely link to it. This is up and available if you want to listen to it. Again, I just pieced it together from an interview that I was doing for something else. I wanted Paul's experiences on that specific mission that he was on. He was stationed in Guam at the time of the earthquake and tsunami, and dealing with some of the humanitarian efforts. So that's definitely there and available. I think what we're doing now is trying to capture really what this is going to be long term, what kinds of segments, how we want to use this. But this is definitely ready to go. I can link to it as well.
Great. I have a follow-up question about the adults being able to take the virtual trainings, and I think it's a question for me, which I don't have an answer for yet, which is if adults sign up for the virtual trainings, will that be considered for adult promotion? That is an excellent question. I don't know the answer, Sean. I doubt you do, and I will absolutely get an answer and be ready to share it, because this Friday is when we're announcing all the offerings. So it's a very well-timed question. Thank you. We also have somebody else who's asking when we will provide further direction on what happens at the end of the stand down. That is absolutely on the forefront of all of our minds. What I understand is that a decision is absolutely forthcoming, and I would absolutely anticipate we will have direction towards the end of this week, at the beginning of next week at the very latest, in terms of what the plan is for the summer. I know all options were being looked at, so certainly as we draw closer to May 1st, I think you can count on hearing pretty solid direction one way or the other. So I'm sorry I can't be more specific than that, because I really don't know. But yeah, we believe me, we all feel it. We're all in it together. I know how hard you guys work to get these trainings up and running, and I don't underestimate that. Please know how much we appreciate that. And so hopefully we'll have an answer, within the week. Okay, someone else is asking. Oh wait, it's going too fast. Sorry. Someone has a son who is a submariner, and he was a Sea Cadet who made it to CPO. He just came back from his deployment. His rating is ETV Nav, and he may help you with some content if you want for the Scuttlebutt. How great is that?
Oh, good. Wonderful. Yeah, I just sent a private message to put him in touch with me. So
yeah, no, I'll connect you guys. Thank you. That's fantastic. All right. The other question is, will the virtual trainings be capped as such as billets for trainings? I know that you can only bank 2 for advanced training. That's what I understand. Is that right, Sean?
Yeah, 2 for AT, although that's now, the whole summer, right, all those issues, that's going to have to evolve depending on the need. So 2 was the initial agreed upon value for now.
And we have someone asking if other courses such as music and arts for those that excel in those areas might be looked at or offered sometime down the road or even now.
Yes. So we currently have not necessarily music and arts. We have languages courses being developed. So your conventional Spanish, French, but we do have we're working on Mandarin. And then I think ASL is extremely useful. And so Gallaudet University has a bunch of really good resources online that we can use to encourage ASL. I would love to do arts and humanities. So feel free to send any suggestions that you can to I believe our training email. If you have any ideas, those can get a little tricky to do virtually, but I think studying history, studying debate, ethics, I think we should do all of that stuff instead of just obsessing over STEM. I'd love to explore ways to do that. So,
and they're so integral to the Navy and to the history of the Navy. So, I mean, those aren't separate areas. So that's exciting. Love that question. Someone else is asking if there'll be a limit to how many cadets can sign up for a particular training.
I don't think so. No. I mean, I know we'll have some that there will be an enrollment window, and I think a capped enrollment, some of the courses, but you'll be able to get that information through Magellan when you look to sign up. But some of the others, I don't think there's going to be an upper limit.
Thank you. At this time, I don't have any other questions unless we've got some time. So if anyone wants to throw out any last questions, please go right ahead. All right.
If anybody has, if anybody knows anybody, just send them my way. Just put them in touch with me.
Someone is asking, how will staff cadet requirements happen? And I think what you mean is the cadets that have to staff things. Is that right? I think that's probably what you're saying. And I don't know that off the top of my head, but I believe that is all part of the guidance that is being worked on. You guys know Vicki Powell. She's our director of unit training, and I know she has been nose to the grindstone trying to get all of these things in place to roll out on, at the end of this week. So again, I'm sorry I don't have a solid answer for you, but, everything is happening very quickly. So hopefully soon we'll have answers. I also, before we wrap up, obviously I want to thank Warrant Officer Sheets for your time tonight and just the leadership example that you're setting. You could have kept this to your unit, but you opened it up to all of the Sea Cadet Corps, and the fact that these webinars are going to be recorded and available for people to use, multiple times after the fact. That's really just what this organization's about, helping each other out and looking out for each other. And so thank you for that example. And I want to encourage everybody, if you have some idea, you may think it won't help other people, but it might. If something's working well locally for you, please send it up to us, training@seacadets.org. We actually do read our emails. It's me and Sean and Vicki, and we do read them. So we love the ideas. We keep them coming. Tonight would never have happened if Warrant Officer Sheets hadn't raised his hand and offered this to us. So let's keep it going. Let's keep the good ideas coming. I also want to say that for those of you who have alumni from your units, please, if you're in touch with them, we are really going to start activating the LinkedIn. We have not been active on that, but we really want to start doing that now and reaching out. So stay tuned for more details on that, because we really do want to take this opportunity to connect with a lot of our alumni as well during the stand down. So again, I want to thank both our speakers tonight, and I want to thank all of you for giving up a Monday night to learn more ways that you can help your cadets. We're so lucky to have you in this organization, and thanks for your passion and for all that you do. And we look forward to seeing you on our next webinar. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night.